Greetings, Shas'Os. Time to talk about the Agents of Imperium. Now, their detachment was, let me just hold it, I got it up on the wrong page, 1 second, the Veiled Blade Elimination Force. Now, I'm going to be completely honest, I've not gone against Imperial Agents yet. I seem to feel like they're not really a competitive choice. There's some builds out there. I know a few people have been playing around with a few things, but it doesn't really stand out to me as to be one of the most competitive armies out there on the field right now. But nonetheless, we're here to review the Grotmus Detachments, so let's get straight into it. Now, the detachment itself has Extremist Sanction, so basically their assassins can use their once per game ability twice, so it's kind of cute. And actually, there's a few of them that can actually be quite annoying for us. They've got enhancements. And they just add these enhancements to the cost of the assassin, with some weird stipulation that if it exceeds it, they can't include it in the army. Well, obviously, if it exceeds the 2,000 points, then yeah, you can't, but okay. They've had to clarify it for some reason. But the decoy targets is the first one, and it effectively means that a Calendar assassin can just murder a friendly infantry unit and teleport an assassin to where that, as closest to where that destroyed model was, and not with engagement range. So that, I'm sure, has got some kind of ability built in where it can actually work with a few other things. I'm not too sure, and we'll kind of figure it out when I start to look at the assassins plus the stratagems. So the next one is basically explosives to go on a Calexis. When they do the grenade stratagem, they do it on 3+ rather than 4s, so you're getting 1 extra mortal wound through. And then the biotech one, it's for an Eversaw, and you can do the heroic intervention and counter offensive stratagem for 0 CP. So I think straight away there, that is something they could do. They could have a Calendar assassin if something's coming into charge. If they're predicting that something's going to come and charge them, they can just shoot or kill. Does it have to actually do anything? You can select. No, just select. So twice per battle in your movement phase, you can go, no, you're dead. Kill a fellow or little brother next to him. Kill him, done. And then teleport the Eversaw. And then go, right, okay, when you're charging this, I'm going to heroic intervention the Eversaw assassin. Or ideally, have the Eversaw assassin next to the unit, so when they charge, they have to charge the whole lot, and then can do the counter-offensive and fight first if they choose to select somewhere else to fight first. So that's kind of cute. The Micro Melter rounds for Vindica, anti-monster 4+ and anti-vehicle 4+ abilities, so it's D3 plus 3 shot, the D3 plus 3 damage can actually be done on monsters and vehicles, gives it a little bit of a kind of a mixed role. So okay, cool. I can see this. It's cute and it's got some tricks, but I wouldn't say it's game breaking. So all of the stratagems are obviously centered around the Agents of Imperium, and then they seem to have an extra added benefit for the assassins. So the first one is Prime Target. You can reroll wound rolls of a 1. If it's an assassin that targets the enemy warlord, you can reroll the wound roll instead. Then the Hyperstims, 2 CP, they basically get add 1 to the toughness characteristic models in the unit. In addition, if it's an Eversaw assassin, he has a 4+ feel no pain. So when I was talking about before, I know it's 2 CP, but Eversaw pops up next to the unit, then is included in the fight, and then could interrupt for free, and it has +1 toughness and feel no pain 4+, and then it can just use its once per game ability, which we'll get onto later, and start blending some dudes. And it's once per game, but in this detachment it's twice per game, so I can see it being used as a defense and then go off on the offense. So I kind of can see how the assassins are being given benefits with these stratagems and these little plays that I've just mentioned. So okay, starting to create a story here. And then Will Sapping Salvo. So the next one is your shooting phase. They have sustained hits 1. If it's a Calexis assassin, change the damage characteristic to 3. Okay. And then Orbital Oversight. Lone Op for a unit of 18 in your opponent's shooting phase. And if it already has Lone Op, 6 inches. So an assassin, a little bit like how they do I think Tyranids have that ability as well with their Death Leaper and Lictors. Another one, blind grenades. So you can -1 from charge rolls, and then if it's a Vindicator Assassin, -2. Doesn't really come up against us, but if we were wanting to get like a cheeky charge with some Crute or something like that, then again they could make you -1. And if you happen to be trying to charge a Vindicator who's up in his little bird perch and just trying to assassinate loads of stuff with his sniper rifle, then yeah, okay, cool, -2 to charge, a little bit like our photon grenades. And then ensnaring trap. So Agents of Imperium, within 6, that is within 6 of 1 or more enemy units, it can basically charge. And if it's a Caledius Assassin, add 1 to the wound roll. All centered around assassins. Okay, so let's have a look at some of those assassins data sheets. So Vindicator. Now, I think this mod's cool, especially the one on its little like tower thing that they got. Deadshot. It ignores lone op. So our lone ops, this thing, okay, it could shoot a it can ignore lone op, and if you give it the enhancement for anti-monster, anti-vehicle 4+, our ghost kill is already T8, but because it's got anti-monster 4+ and anti-vehicle 4+, it triggers its devastating wounds. So it would just be doing D3+3 damage to a ghost kill. But you'd obviously just go, okay, my drone goes. But it can easily plink away those drones for something else and just put pressure on the ghost kill, because it ignores lone op. Excuse me. Now, once per battle, but remember it can do it twice, add 1 to the wound roll, and any successful wound roll scores a critical wound, so devastating wounds. Now, add 1 to the wound roll, so crits on 5s, so it could be doing D3+3 damage. So our commanders have 6 wounds, but obviously we've got access to taking 2 shield drones. So even if you took 1 shield drone on your commanders, the Vindicator is not one-shotting one of these characters. But as the Vindicator is a lone op, then you're never really going to get to him. So your characters that have more than 6 wounds have basically got 1 turn of being lowered to like 1, maybe maximum to 1 because it's D3+3, and then your next turn, if the Vindicator can shoot you, you're dead. So you've kind of got a get out of jail free card if you take shield drones on your commanders, which you should be doing anyway. Not maybe 2, but 1 definitely, because sometimes you can give them like gun drone, shield drone, or marker drone, shield drone, just in case the character's left and your units died and you want to guide for other things. Now, it's 8 -3 D3+3, so, and it ignores cover, and it's heavy, so it can be easily hit on 2s even if you've got a -1, as long as it's staying still. Your other characters, Cadre Fireblades, Ethereals, even your lone op Firesight Marksman can just be one-shotted. Now, as much as I don't think this detachment is hyper-competitive, I can definitely see it being annoying in certain units that we take in our detachments. So, guns to my head, what detachment's great against this? Well, all of our detachments are great against this, because I don't consider it hyper-aggressive in the meta, Imperial Agents that is. If you're an Imperial Agents player and you think I'm completely wrong, then please put in the comments on why you think what combos are really good, and if you played against it as a Tau player, then let us know in the comments, because we're all here to learn more about different armies and enhance our game. So please let me know in the comments below. But the Firesight Marksman we take in Montcar because you can give it the Strike Swiftly enhancement, which can then give 2 of your units Scout. And then it can just sit, not really be bothered about incoming damage, because it can just sit out in the open, guide for stuff, and remain, hidden because of lone op, but not against the Vindicator Assassin. And if they draw Assassinate, they'll just go, great, cool, dead. And it gets them points. So be careful, yeah, because it can catch you out. And remember, within this detachment, it can use its Shield Breaker, which is usually once per battle, twice. So let's move on to the Caledius. Now, the Caledius doesn't have an ability that says once per game, so it's not included in the detachment description. But we should know what the Caladius does by now. It's fight first, infiltrate, loan up, and it's used usually as come on, join our force as an ally and do all my actions for me. Because it got uppy downy, and then it can fall back from combat up to D6, and then as long as it's not within 3 inches of an enemy unit, it can just remove from the battlefield and then come in with the reinforcement step. Lord of Deceit. The Lord of Deceit is actually really annoying for us because a lot of our stratagem suites are 1 CP, but suddenly making that 2 CP, if you're within 12 of a Caladius, can get really frustrating, especially for your forward planning stages. Now, the easiest example I can give is, for example, the Retcad, when you're going, okay, I'm going to move this unit out, shoot, fire and fade to safety, all golden, done. But then if you happen to get within 12 of a Calidus, it's 2 CP, so if you've not planned for that in the previous turn, then you're not going to be able to do that trick that you wanted to, and then you're out in the open and you're exposed. And obviously, for example, if they were to, say, teleport the Calidus with that ability, the other person, actually, the Calidus is the one that teleports, I think. Give me just 1 second while I just jump back to the... yeah, okay, so the Calidus can't teleport another Calidus, so, okay, cool. But it could just, like I said, but anyway, I just wanted to double check that the Calidus Assassin couldn't be teleported to do this deceit. So, any increase on stratagems are really annoying, like I was saying for Tau. So, any abilities where you can make a stratagem for free would help. So, Farsight moving out, shooting, and then fire and fading would normally be free, but will go back to being 1 CP. And there's some clever little things that you can do in Montcar with a War Shaper. So War Shaper has an ability, and we are talking about that heavily within our Discord. So if you want to know all the tricks of the trade, come and join the Discord, because it's absolutely buzzing right now. Now, let's go back to the Assassins. So we talked a little about the Calidus. It's not bad in combat because it has fight first, and it's 5 attacks, -4 and 2 damage, lethal hits and precision. So again, able to kind of, kill out your character. So most of these assassins, we've already established that the Vindica has precision. Then obviously we've got the Calidus with precision, and then its shooting has anti-infantry 2+ precision, torrent, D6 strength 5, AP 2, 1 damage. So in a world where it rolls max, I can see it potentially sniping 2 Kroot characters, or definitely an Ethereal, or maybe a Cadre Fireblade. So your characters are definitely not safe, and a lot of our buffs are coming from characters, whether it's like Shadowsun with an Aura Reroll 1s, then we can just stand around in the open as a lone up. Well, the Vindica can just potentially one-shot Shadowsun because of she's got 6 wounds. So yes, she's -1 to wound, but the Vindica is +1 to wound, and you've got an invuln, but if it gets the dev wounds through, then no invuln for you. And then obviously Ethereals, Cadres, even if you put the drones on them, they're still able to be like one-shotted. And then Kroot characters, again, 4 wounds, that kind of thing, 3 wounds, 4 wounds. Bit tricky. And then obviously the lethal hits and the precision as well, so goes straight through when the hit, and it's -4, 2 damage. So your characters need to be well positioned or hidden. And I've got a little tiny short scenario to show you on TTS as a little bit of a kind of a guidance to how you can protect your characters. Now, let's go on to the Calexis Assassin. So the Calexis Assassin obviously is an anti-Psyker, but we don't have any Psykers, so it doesn't really affect us. But there's a couple of things that would. In your movement phase, when it does Deep Strike, it goes 6 inches away. So protects your objectives, but then it has Soulless Horror. Every unit within 9 must take a battle shock test, subtracting 1, and obviously 2 if it's a Psyker, but again, we don't have any Psykers. But because this is one of its once per battle, it becomes twice. So this thing can really shut you down, stop you doing defensive strats, take away your OC, all that kind of thing. So, pretty annoying. And then in terms of its ranged attacks, 3 shots, 5, 2, and D3, precision, melee, Devastating Wounds Precision, 4 attacks, 4, 2, and 2. So they're well equipped to kill our squishy characters. And then finally, the Eversaw. I really love the Eversaw. I think the Eversaw offers a hell of a lot of threat projection for this army. Because the Eversaw Assassin is movement 9. But it has Scout move 9. And it can advance, shoot, and charge. And once per battle becomes twice per battle with the detachment. It just adds 6 to its movement and adds 3 to the attacks. So it could Scout move 9, move 15, advance and charge. That's quite a hell of a threat range. And its attacks are 6 as standard, 5, 2, and 2, anti-infantry, 3+, precision, sustain hits 3. So sustain hits 3, you're going to be getting at least 1. You'll miss with 1. So as standard, that's going to be 8 attacks that go through. And then obviously with the stratagems, they can, increase reroll wounds if it's a warlord and various things like that. And I will just double check on that because I have to go back to stratagems to make sure. But the other thing that it can do is it can add 3 to its attacks, twice per game because in this detachment. So it would have 9 attacks. So depending on how many 6s they roll, it's either going to be sad times or happy times for you. So I talked about the Vindicator Assassin not being able to one-shot one of your commanders, but I can definitely see the Eversaw Assassin having a good go, because if he gets 9 attacks, let's be reasonable, let's say he misses with 1, gets 2 6s, so that'll be 14, and then he's wounding on 4s, and if it's your warlord, just double check on that, because I want to get this correct. The stratagem, the Eversaw Assassin one. No, because that's the Eversaw Assassin is the 4+ feel no pain. And then the other one is a Calexis for the damage. Prime target, yeah. So if it's Assassin, you can re-roll the wound roll instead. So, or if it is attacking a character, you can reroll the wound roll of 1. If it's the warlord and it's made by an assassin, you can reroll the wound roll. So what that means is that this assassin, this Eversaw Assassin, can go in. We've already established he's got 14 through because he's got 2 6s, yeah? Then it would be 7 wounds, 8 wounds with rerolling 1s, or 7, let's say 4, give them the extra 1, 4. So you're looking at 8 or 11, between 8 and 11, AP 2 damage. So if your commander hasn't got an invuln, if it was 8 and you got 5+ save because it's -2, you will pass 2 of them. So that's 12 damage. So it will kill your commanders. If it's your warlord and it goes up to 11, even if you have an invuln, like say Farsight or any kind of commander, even if you've got 8 wounds, you give them 2 shield drones and an invuln. If they've handed you 8 saves to make and you pass 4 of them, that's 8 damage. You're still dead. You could CP reroll 1, but if it's 11 and it's your warlord and you pass 5 of them, that's 12 damage. So this Eversaw Assassin can go in and absolutely kill your warlord or any of your characters. We're not talking about cadres and ethereals because they just die to a stiff breeze. But in terms of your commanders that are giving your output a massive boost, the Cold Star allowing your unit to advance and give +2 movement and shooting, you lose that, you've lost your speed. An Enforcer giving you AOC, well, you've lost that because you're dead. And then, so my point is here, the Eversaw Assassin is the one to definitely be afraid of. And you can't exactly hide from him because of his speed, his scout move 9, his movement is adding 6 to his move. So when you're deploying, you've got to be really careful, and you've got to really measure out your threat range or have screens in front of your characters to stop him from getting in. And I think this one is the one that's going to cause you the most problems. So, the scenario I'm going to set up for you, nice and simple. It's not going to be a long one. It's just going to be showing you a nice simple trick. So, here we have, let's assume that in this little box here, you know, you've had to kill something. So your Sunforge team come in with Farsight, right? The Vindicator here can obviously shoot and sniper out Farsight, but we already established with what I was saying that you can't kill him in one. And then you're like, oh, okay, well, I can't quite get to him, so now I have to retreat away. But for example, if you went to kill out the unit that was in that box, like so, and then hid Farsight, keeping him coherency, can't shoot him, can't target him. If you can't see him, you can't target him. So this little scenario here is effectively saying to you, if your character is giving a buff on the unit, so the Ethereal is giving this unit a 5+ feel no pain, and obviously he's generating you CP, then all you do is you make sure that your character is not visible from that model. And then because even if they have precision, if they can't see, they can't kill him. It is very basic, but the amount of times I see people forgetting about these basics is unreal. So, you know, oh, I'm going to move out, shoot, kill. Okay, cool. Well, pop, Ethereal's gone. And in our Grotmus detachment, I don't know anything, but if we got an Ethereal-based detachment, then, and we were losing our Ethereals, maybe there is a big benefit to losing Ethereals. Maybe our army goes nuts, so you might want to sacrifice the Ethereal. But that's just me having my own thoughts on what the detachment might be. Now, apart from the obvious here, Kroot lovers, and if you're running the Kroot detachment, this could be really hurtful for us. Because if the assassin was able to go, I don't really like the fact that you've got, you know, reactive moves, or your auto pass battle shot, because I've got abilities to make you battle shot, I'm going to snipe out this guy. Or, oh, you want to loan up 18 because you got that stratagem, I don't care, I can just shoot you. So what would you do? Well, you do the same thing that I just showed you before. You would just have your characters deployed in the terrain while still having your unit out doing its thing. So you would have to start kind of orchestrating sort of the coherency, so you're having your models like trailing back, and then you could obviously have your Kroot out like that, but keeping your characters hidden. And then we've got the Eversor Assassin. So if you just assume that we've maybe pushed out our unit, okay, and we're like that, well, you react to move, he can still charge you, and because he can still see you, he can just precision out your characters. And with him having like loads of attacks, if he does his mega attacks and goes, I'm going to do 9 attacks, I'm going to do 4 on the War Shaper and 5 on the War Shaper, 4 on the Trail Shaper. +1 to wound, because you might as well do it. Dead. And then 4 on the Trail Shaper, sustain hits 3. It's a really bad roll, you know? Dead. So you just killed both of your characters, and if they had a secondary that was like no prisoners assassinate, well, he's just killed 2 characters, that's 4 and no prisoners, and he's just killed the characters, so he's got 5, and he's just basically made your Kroot lose their leader. Yeah, okay, Kroot might, you know, do something to him, you could do it 4 feel no pain, but that's not the point. If you want to avoid this, all you do is you have your Kroot characters behind the wall there, so the Eversor can only attack what it can see. It can't see the character, so it can't precision out. And that's it in a nutshell. There's nothing complex about what I've shown you. It's just some of the basic things that normally you wouldn't really care about. But when you are faced with somebody that can either use stratagems to have precision or have precision built in, these are the kind of things that you need to do to adapt your gameplay. And all it is hide your characters as best you can when you can, if you are predicting incoming precision. So Crude Lovers, absolutely hide your characters because they're key to giving your units loads of like rules, whether it be auto passing with a War Shaper for each stratagem, or reactive moves, or Feel No Pain with the Flesh Shaper. Kion Lovers, if you're taking an Ethereal for the extra CP, then again, keep your Ethereal hidden. Montcar Lovers, keep your Firesight Marksmen hidden from Vindicers. Keep your Commanders having, 7 wounds rather than the base stock of 6. So a lot of the Ret Cadlists that I was seeing were like, oh no, I'm just going to put them in a Burst Star Scythe unit because I want all the gun drones. I only have 6 wounds then. But doing that, you're opening yourself up to being one-shotted by Vindicator. So shield drone, gun drone, shield drone, marker drone, whatever you fancy, but just take that extra shield drone. And then just hope to God you don't roll a 1 for your hazardous on your Cyclic Iron Blaster. So look, nice and simple, protect your characters where you can, because if they're integral to your army, don't be stupid, don't let them just get easily sniped or killed. So that's it for me. I'm going to move on to the other detachments, but hopefully this has been useful, and please like, subscribe, do all the normal, and then I really want you to look into the Puretide program and join us in Discord, because we are having a fantastic time at the moment prepping for our detachment. We don't know what it is, but we're also coming up with some secret spice ready for a couple of tournaments that are coming up. The Nottingham Super Major plus the LVO. So, you know where to find it. Go in the link below, click on the Discord, have a look at your options, and if you need any information, reach out to me on Discord, and I'm more than happy able to help you and help you choose the right package for you. Anyway, over and out. See you soon.